We knew this trip was going to be interesting the moment we stepped into the airport at Sorong. Surprised and amused at the sight that greeted us, we quickly learned that it was we who were the curiosities in the room, and not the other way around. Everyone wanted to get their picture taken with us. And when they did, they were happy. No one actually wanted to see the pictures, they just wanted to be in on it. And after a welcome like that, we knew we were going to have a great trip. As soon as we dropped our gear off at the hotel, we went for a wander around Sorong to explore. We hit the back streets first, where Mark led us up one dead end after another.
Hello.
With no real purpose other than to end up at the port, we decided we aren't seeing the best of what Sorong has to offer. So we grabbed a taxi and gave the driver a simple brief: show us all the sights you can in 2 hours. We saw a shiny mosque. A tall thing that was closed. A nice part of the waterfront that we would later come back to for the sunset. The amusement park that was absolutely going off. A monastery. A lake with a white bridge. A swastika. A dead rat. And that's it. The show was over in 45 minutes. Exhausted from all that sightseeing, we headed for a bar. We found a great spot by the water. And watching a storm approach as the sun set, we sat, reflecting on the day. We drank cold beers, wondering what tomorrow would bring. This is the story of our adventures in Raja Ampat. We stayed with the locals in homestays and island hopped between them in their boats. We didn't dive, but chose to snorkel at their local reefs. The gateway to Raja Ampat is the ferry terminal in Sorong. It's pretty much the only reason most travellers come here. We got tickets in the premium lounge only because it is supposed to be air-conditioned. We paid twice the price of a regular ticket for that little luxury, only to find it wasn't working anyway. So we promptly made our way outside and enjoyed the sights. It's a 2-hour trip across to the main island of Wasai. And once the ferry is docked, they throw the hatch open to unleash chaos on the otherwise quiet little port. We were met by a representative from our homestay, and after purchasing all of our necessary passes and permits, headed out into the wide blue yonder. Still getting over a knee replacement, Donna was discovering he wasn't as agile as he used to be.
Hey, mate. I'm Mark. Eddie. You are? Eddie. Hey, Eddie.
Well, sort of.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Despite our shaky start, Captain Cool got us to our first stop, the island of Cree, in about 30 minutes. We were blown away by the sight before us, and by our lovely hostess Alice.
Lovely to meet you, Alice.
She kept our beer cold and our bellies full.
Cheeky bugger.
Okay, I want to back to the kitchen.
Okay, bye.
When the tide was high, we could just jump in from our deck and swim out to the reef and snorkel as far as we liked. Or we would walk down to the next jetty and drift back with the gentle current. At the end of this jetty was a small but very colourful reef with plenty of life to see. It was a taste of things to come. This place was magic. Sadly, our time in Cree was finished, but another island awaited us.
Alice. Yeah, for the movie. I love it.
The tiny island of Arborek was to be our base for the next 2 days. Almost the entire island is covered by a delightful village with small shops, a school, a church and cottages along wide streets. It is a remarkably clean and orderly community whose people are constantly keeping the place spotless. We went for a Sunday morning stroll through the village. You could hear the church bells ringing and the kids singing in Sunday school, giving the place a wholesome charm. At the east end of the island is a long private jetty. It's owned by a village headman named Barney who let us have access to it. In return, we used his services to get to our next destination. This was the best snorkeling spot on the island. And after all that hard work, a quiet beer and kicking back, watching the sunset, was the perfect way to cap off our time here in Arborek. Time for another move. We were picked up by Dad, Mum and the kids and ventured off. The boat seemed a little more packed than usual, but no one was worried about that. Wondering just how it could possibly get any better, we made our way to the fam group of islands. We were jaw-dropped. This place didn't seem real. The main island of the group is Pianemo, with its stunning panoramas, beaches and coves. What could be better, right? Rufus, that topped them all. It was to be home for the next 4 days. Like a set for a Hollywood pirate movie, with its secret cove, you could not imagine such a place like this existed. And on top of that, we were soon to discover it is possibly one of the best snorkeling spots in all of Raja Ampat. You just dived off of your porch deck, swum across the lagoon through the outlet and into a different world. It was absolutely amazing. Overlooking the lagoon is a viewing tower, but make sure you keep one eye on where you tread as you admire the view. It's a bit of a death trap.
I'm not going to lean against one of these anyway.
Like most homestay accommodation, Rufus is rustic, rickety and rough as guts. It's just as basic as you can get, but that's what's great about it. You have your overwater hut and balcony. There's a shady porch with a ladder to get in and out of the water below, and a large bed. A hammock to laze in, a mosquito net over the bed, electricity while the generator is running for a while in the evening, and a fan if you are lucky. There's a clamshell wash basin by the dining room, a kitchen where the magic occurs, basic toilet, cold showers which are a trickle at best, and drinking water that has to be brought in by boat. Hut construction begins with a number of driftwood posts driven deep into the mud. On top of these, they lay a bed of wooden planks to create a floor foundation. And on top of that is constructed a simple wooden frame. Palm leaves are folded in half and lashed to the roof battens with cane twine. Wall fills are made from the spine of palm leaves and lashed to the sides. Construction timber is hewn locally, probably from Arborek, and brought in by boat. Palm leaves are sourced and stripped into components locally, and the only imported and non-organic items used in the whole construction are steel nails for frame building. Add to all that skill and hard work, and you end up with something like this. Close by to Rufus are a number of attractions and dive sites. It's very easy to arrange a boat to get you there, and the price per boat is very reasonable if there are a few of you to share the cost.
Don't distract him while he's trying to thread this needle. Hey, beautiful!
Yeah, I knew he'd do it.
The locals are consummate seafarers, a legacy of virtually growing up on the water as kids. How long would it be before you found yourself in trouble if you parented like this in Australia? One thing is for sure, these are strong and resilient kids. We took a trip out to Melissa's garden, but at the time it was too deep and the current too strong for snorkeling. So we returned to Rufus only to discover the best snorkeling of all, right on our doorstep. There are also coconut crabs on these islands. Our host William went out at night and brought a couple of small ones back for us to see.
Oh wow.
Telur dalam ini.
Oh iya, telur-telur itu. Wow. Ada barang ini dia 1 tahun, maksudnya 1 kali ini.
Melahirkan.
Beranak, bertelur.
Sleep.
Apparently this sends the crab to sleep, but this one had too many coffees for that.
Something to show the grandkids, eh?
Yeah. They used to be picking things up.
Interestingly, the locals don't bother much with these as a food source. These crabs were returned to where they were found.
Thank you, William. You look after us very well. We'll see you again, eh?
Yes,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
After 4 great days at Rufus, we were now moving on. It was a fantastic place, and our hosts were just great. We met other travellers and enjoyed their company as well. It was a bit sad to leave, actually. We were heading way out west to Wayag. From Rufus, it is a 4-hour boat trip, so we decided to stay halfway for a day to break the journey.
Oh, it says rusty.
Manyaifun is a bit off radar to most travellers these days. Overlooked for closer and better snorkeling prospects. It has seen better times. Fishing is the mainstay of the communities on these islands out here. Homestays have become a thing of the past, so for that it is quite an authentic experience to visit this region. There are long deserted beaches, islands dedicated as cemeteries, and sleepy little fishing villages with virtually no interest in tourism at all. You have your grocery shop, a school, places of worship, both Muslim and Christian, a boat building and repair business. A small pier, and that's about it. We had arranged for our homestay hosts to take us out to Wayag for an overnight beach camp. And so, with tents and provisions packed, we set off on a 2-hour boat trip to the far western end of Raja Ampat. This is a very remote area, beyond which there is nothing but the sea until you reach North Maluku. Passing by many small uninhabited islands along the way, we eventually reached the Wayag group of islands. At the top of one of these, there is a lookout, accessible via a very dodgy looking ladder.
I'm gone.
And after a short steep climb, this was the view. Passing closely by all those tiny islands was just exhilarating, and to top it off, the locals were out to greet us at the beach. With tents pitched and a sunset to enjoy, all was good in our world. But from where we sat, we couldn't see what was coming our way for the night. That was just the curtain raiser. It absolutely belted down that night. The cheap tents were hopeless at stopping any water from entering, and so we were forced to shift camp in the dark of night and move the tents under the shelter shed. But with many miles between us and sheltered waters, we cut our visit short and headed back with more bad weather threatening. Fortunately, the skies cleared and we were able to see a few attractions along the way, including a quick visit to a remote fishing village to get some more petrol to complete our journey. We don't even know what this place is called, but we wished we had more time to explore. And as we found everywhere, the people were lovely.
Oh, what's your name?
Deborah?
The bad weather returned overnight. We awoke to find our balcony chairs had blown away into the water, never to be seen again, and we had run out of dry clothes. So we headed for Garm, our last island on this adventure. Here we could get ourselves reorganised and stock up on some essentials, like beer. Cordilleras Homestay was the biggest we stayed at. It had a great dive shop for those who needed one, and the dives they run from there are very good. The dining hut was a bit of a social hub, and the food was by far the best of the trip. The boss lady, Lucy, ran the show very professionally and got things done for us with no fuss at all. And while the snorkeling was not as good here, the beach was fantastic. It was a great place to finish our trip at.
Bye-bye, Lucy. Lovely.
I pulled this trip together with the help of only two sources of information. The first is a download called Raja Ampat Ultimate Travel Guide. It is available on this website and was the best 22 Australian dollars I have ever spent for planning a trip like this. The other was the Stay Raja Ampat website. Not only is this a booking agency for homestays that meet their standards, they are a great source of information you can trust. We did, and we made all of our accommodation bookings through them. They have safeguards in place that you can have confidence in and are easy to communicate with. Hopefully you may find these useful in planning your trip. In the beginning it can be difficult to decide what islands to visit out of the hundreds that are there, and it is even harder to know how to choose good homestays. These two sources of information open the gates to solving all of that.